McLaren and Honda have begun discussions regarding a possible Formula One reunion as both firms consider their alternatives for the 2026 engine rules. In this video, we'll take a look at why the first McLaren-Honda negotiations are held for F1 2026 and what's going on. The world of Formula One racing is buzzing with the news of the first negotiations between McLaren and Honda for their potential partnership in the 2026 season. The McLaren-Honda alliance has been one of the most successful partnerships in the history of the sport, with the two teams working together to win 4 consecutive world championships from 1988 to 1991. After a long hiatus, the two companies are now in talks about a potential reunion in the near future. McLaren has been a staple of the Formula One grid since 1966, and the team has had a storied history in the sport, winning multiple championships and achieving numerous podium finishes. In recent years, however, the team has struggled to achieve the same level of success it enjoyed in the past. In a bid to return to its winning ways, McLaren is exploring new partnerships and opportunities, including a potential reunion with Honda. Honda, on the other hand, is one of the most successful engine suppliers in the history of Formula One, with a record of 13 world championships and numerous races wins to its name. The Japanese company has been absent from the sport since 2008, but it recently announced its intention to return to Formula One as an engine supplier, with a view to achieving even greater success in the future. The first negotiations between McLaren and Honda for a potential partnership in 2026 took place in late January of 2023, with representatives from both companies meeting to discuss the details of the deal. The two teams are said to be highly motivated to work together once again, and the negotiations are said to be going well, with both sides expressing a strong desire to make the partnership a reality. Many fans and experts in the world of Formula One are excited about the prospect of a McLaren-Honda partnership in 2026. The combination of McLaren's expertise in chassis design and Honda's expertise in engine development is seen as a winning formula, and the two teams are expected to bring a new level of competitiveness to the sport. However, the partnership is not without its challenges. Both teams will need to work closely together to ensure that their relationship is a success, but they will need to invest significant time and resources into the project. There is also the issue of competition, with other teams and engine suppliers likely to put up a strong challenge in the 2026 season, from 2015 to 2017. The two businesses collaborated on V6 turbo hybrids, but the cooperation ended due to poor engine performance and dependability, which led to increased tensions between the two. Honda finally switched to supplying Red Bull Racing, resulting in successive championships in 2021 and 2022, with Max Verstappen at the wheel. According to sources, current conversations between McLaren and Honda are in their early stages as both firms assess their choices. Honda will officially exit Formula One in 2020, but has agreed to supply engines to Red Bull until 2025. Since then, the Japanese manufacturer has registered its interest in the 2026 rules with the FIA, making it one of the 6 manufacturers expected to participate. Last week, it was announced that Red Bull will collaborate with Ford on the 2026 engine rules, because Honda couldn't provide them with a solution quickly enough. McLaren CEO Zak Brown is also said to have visited Red Bull powertrains and is investigating all options, including Audi and Mercedes. McLaren and Mercedes have a long-term agreement, and Brown says, "We're really delighted with Mercedes." Brown, on the other hand, is willing to consider other options for 2026 and beyond. Nothing has been confirmed as of yet, because the conversations are still in their early stages. The 2023 season will begin with the Bahrain Grand Prix on March 3 to 5, followed by pre-season testing the week before. The team's car premieres take place in February. Honda opted to supply engines to McLaren in 1988 after 2 very successful years with Williams. Honda created a turbocharged engine that, on paper, should be slower due to the new standards. The results, however, showed otherwise. McLaren drivers Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost won 15 of 16 races, and the team gained 3 times as many points as rival Ferrari. Although the two drivers' relationship was far from ideal, it was difficult to dispute that McLaren and Honda were the dominant forces that year. 1989 was a carbon copy of the previous year, with Ferrari winning 3 more races but McLaren winning the rest. Despite the fact that turbo engines were legally outlawed this year, Honda had built the best engine. However, Prost's relationship with Senna deteriorated, and Prost announced his departure as early as mid-season. McLaren won the Constructors' and Drivers' titles again the next 2 years, although their immunity from the previous 2 seasons had vanished. Williams and Ferrari were closing in on the British squad, and the championship had to be defended tooth and nail. Williams, with Nigel Mansell as their driver, eventually managed to dethrone McLaren in 1992. Honda announced its departure from the sport at the end of the season due to Japan's severe economic crisis. The second collaboration between the two parties had no resemblance to the first. McLaren still had a respectable year in 2014, competing with Ferrari for fourth place among constructors. But with the Honda engine in 2015, there was nothing more of that. Despite having previous world champions Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button as drivers, the team finished 9th among manufacturers with only 23 points all season. The Honda engine was exceptionally unstable, failing 7 times. It was also evident that the engine couldn't keep up with the rest of the field. Button ended 2 laps behind the victor in the first race. Alonso even referred to the engine as a GP2 engine, after he was overtaken by Max Verstappen's Toro Rosso. The engine was clearly incompatible with McLaren's design, which was especially tight and provided little room for the engine. It should also be noted that Honda did not want to return until 2016, but McLaren persuaded the manufacturer to move the date up a year. In 2016, the collaboration performed marginally better, climbing to the 6th position. In 2017, however, McLaren dropped to 9th place, trailing only Sauber. Even before the end of the year, the two parties announced their intention to cease their collaboration. McLaren instead struck a deal with Renault. Honda finally switched to Red Bull Racing, with which it achieved enormous success. A third collaboration now appears to be feasible. New engine rules are forcing teams to re-evaluate who they want as an engine supplier. In that context, Red Bull Racing recently reintroduced Ford to the sport, and Audi partnered with Sauber. Honda is one of 6 manufacturers committed to 2026, including Red Bull, Ford, and Audi, as well as longtime allies Ferrari, Mercedes, and Renault. Honda is the only supplier that does not have a team due to the connection between Ford and the Red Bull family, while things might still change, and Williams, Aston Martin, and Haas could theoretically switch suppliers. Honda is expected to embrace the opportunity to secure a significant partner in McLaren with both hands. McLaren is expected to be far more casual on the opposite side of the negotiation table. The British racing team has a far broader range of options than the Japanese manufacturer. If the Honda arrangement isn't what McLaren is looking for, the team may stick with Mercedes engines they already have, or they could look at what Audi's project has to offer. Former McLaren team manager Andreas Seidel presently serves as CEO there, and McLaren is likely to be welcomed with open arms if they wish to participate. It is still feasible that McLaren will employ Renault engines again, though Renault is unlikely to supply the team that has been its direct competitor in recent years. But even at this early stage, one thing is clear. McLaren wants to investigate every potential alternative. The first McLaren-Honda negotiations for a potential partnership in 2026 are a significant moment in the history of Formula One racing. The reunion of these two legendary teams has the potential to bring a new level of competitiveness to the sport, and fans and experts alike are eagerly anticipating the results. Only time will tell if the partnership will be a success. But one thing is certain, the world of Formula One racing is in for an exciting period of change and innovation in the coming years. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you with another interesting video.